The penultimate round of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship is hosted in Mount Maunganui. The Battery Town Rally Bay of Plenty offers a mix of public roads, forestry stages in the heart of New Zealand's largest kiwi fruit growing region. Will the penultimate rally in the 2025 season deliver a zesty taste? It's all to play for here in the Bay. Round 4 at Rally Coromandel showed yet again how close the top two Scooters of Ben Hunt and Robbie Stokes are. Hunt took 4 stage wins to Stokes' 3. The gap between them never more than 13 seconds over the 8 stages. But it was Hunt who prevailed to take the win. Behind them, an even battle of the Jacks, Jack Hawkswood versus Jack Stokes. 2 young drivers in their AP4 cars. Hawkswood had the advantage on stage 1. But Jack Stokes took that back on stage 2 and held off the challenge from the Toyota driver to the end. So Nzrc points after round 4, Hunt has an 11-point lead on Robbie Stokes. Josh Marston holding on to 3rd, 15 points ahead of Jack Hawkswood. Dean Bewis leading the 2-wheel drives in 5th ahead of Bryn Jones. So all eyes on the battle for the New Zealand Championship at the start, with a Skoda showdown between Robbie Stokes and Ben Hunt. And with 4 stages in the Matahina Forest in the morning, experience in forest rallying will be a big advantage.
We just have to go out there and do our thing and just have a clean, consistent rally and obviously push where we need to. And there is some technical stuff tomorrow, so we need to make sure we come out clean at the end of every stage without punches and things like that. So
just trying to keep our eyes forward and focus on the goals, just to come out of here where we are now, or even if we can gain some points on Ben, that would be magic. But getting to the finish and taking it to Whangarei for the finale would be a good thing.
But it's a couple of old hands who might know the forest best, as both Dave Strong and Julian Longley competed in the APRC Rally Rotorua on these roads back in 2005.
If it was 2005 we were here, I certainly had that in 2005, so same car. It's the last car I've got running. My Jazz is going back together. I've got the engine, so for Tuesday lunchtime I've got to go to Scrutiny for the target, so hopefully it's all right.
Same thing, just stay on the road, make it to the finish line. I mean, the more time we spend behind the wheel, the easier it gets, I think. And also with Fleur as a co-driver, spend more time together, it gets better and it makes it easier.
Also returning in the Rally Challenge, points leader Caleb McDonald, who chose to sit out Coromandel.
Last year was our first time up here, first time competing at Bay of Plenty, and we really enjoyed it, loved the roads. They're a really good mix of some tight, twisty forestry sort of stuff and then some a bit more open and faster roads that like what we're used to down south. So we had a good time last year and definitely wanted to come back for this time round too.
The rally will start and finish on the Mangatoi stage, running each direction, then stage 2 McDougall running along the edge of the Rotorua Forest, which will reverse in the afternoon to become stage 9 Campbell. After a service in Kawerau, the cars head to Matahina Forest, one of the original large Pinus radiata forests planted in the 1950s to service the pulp and paper industry. 2 roads repeated with a total of 92 kilometres. Then it's on to the famous Manawahei stage at Herapuru before the repeat stages on the return to Mount Maunganui.
Gavin Feast is a late starter in rallying, but the farmer from just outside Tauranga is already making his mark in the Rally Challenge.
I'm Gavin Feast, live in Tauranga, doing Cat 5 this year. So rallying for me started at about 7 or 8 years old, I think it was. A friend of my dad's raced a Mark II BDA Escort in the 1977 Heatway Rally. He took me for riding it prior to the rally. I remember getting out thinking that was fun. 2008 ended up with a friend doing Dale Perry's Rally Drive weekend course in Maramaroa, and that was awesome fun, and came home and proudly told Kristen that the rally career was about to, take off finally, and got the big resounding double thumbs down, and it was like, no, no. As the boys got older, they started tearing around in cars and telling them that that's, if they want to do that, that's motorsport. So a good mate of mine, Matt Hayward, hooked me up with Dave Laughlin's version 7 Subaru. So we bought that end of 23. I told the boys I'll do a couple of events and then show them the ropes and they could co-drive and then get the feel for it, and then it was all theirs. And I think the first autocross I did was just a club event and ended up winning. And I got out thinking, man, that was, like, damn, that's fun. That's fun. And the kids are still sitting on the sidelines, sort of asking when it's their turn. So yeah, ended up getting this car here, which was the SAS car that John Thompson and Mike Young had driven. And so yeah, we've done a bit of work to that, and yeah, the rest is history. I'm already 56, so I can talk about the twilight of my rallying career already, but I think it'll be sitting in that old girl and having a bit of a laugh, and maybe the kids can tear around in these all-wheel drive things. They're a bit of a handful, but yeah, that's great fun, that thing.
Caleb McDonald would lead the Rally Challenge cars on the stages. Under the Rally Challenge regulations, drivers count only 4 results of the 6 rallies, including the final, so Caleb had chosen to miss Coromandel. Caleb just has to finish ahead of Josh Keeley to maintain his lead in the Rally Challenge, so doesn't need to push too hard on this opening stage.
6 right minus.
The second stage of the day saw drivers confronted with thick dust. In fact, it was so bad that the rally organisers increased the gap between the cars, starting from 1 minute to 2 minutes after the service.
120. Here's your second 7 right.
You can hear the frustration from Caleb,
6 right,
but also the great calls by co-driver Larissa Bigger to reinforce the pace notes.
50.
McDonald had a 13-second buffer over second place Will Menzies at the stage end.
Here's your braking 5 right.
It's been an interesting morning. We're still having fun, but a little tricky on that last stage with the dust, like everyone's been saying. But yeah, getting out there, enjoying the roads as best we can, and cracking on.
This was Will Menzies' first entry in the Rally Challenge class, but he has had some good results this season competing in the all-comers class. The dust is getting worse with every passing car, and this saps the confidence of the drivers.
I felt like Stevie Wonder in that second stage. I couldn't see anything, so just driving by touch almost. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, but sounds like everyone's having the same problem.
This is Julian Longlay's third event of the season, looking to make a strong finish in these 2 final rounds. A lot of experience here, not just in the driver, but also the co-driver Fleur Pedersen. Fleur has more than 20 years on rallies in New Zealand and across Asia. They were second on stage 1 and third after stage 2. Gavin Feast struggled on stage 1 with a fogging windscreen, but fixed that on stage 2, only to be confronted by the dust. But he was fastest through the stage and went into the service in 4th, just 6 seconds down on Longley. Josh Keeley's car was repaired after hitting cattle at Rally Coromandel. Despite that setback, he was still the closest challenger to McDonald for the title, but a soft clutch pedal slowed him on the opening stages. Kevin Laird had no experience of these stages. In fact, this is just his second rally in the North Island, and he was in the top 5 after stage 2. Ben Hubin had a couple of slow stage times in the morning, so just 6th place. Stage 3, Matahina 1. Not only a forest stage, but also 34 kilometres long. Wide roads and long straights through the forest, Caleb McDonald is looking to extend his lead. But his rally would end with a violent crash, which left the Mitsubishi wrecked.
Yeah, quite a large accident. We were top speed really, 5th gear coming around a sweeping 7 right, and tightened up at the end. Probably, I think it's just driver error. I thought the wear at Titan was earlier than possibly what it was. We've clipped the inside bank, and that's been enough to, in 5th gear at top speed, to bloody, excuse me language, head off into the bushes, right? So we barrel rolled, hit the bank on the other side, I think the tree as well, and we've sort of made our way down the rest of the road in a very unconventional way. So thankfully the safety gear did everything that it's supposed to, and both myself and Larissa are all right. yeah, just gutted that I think I've sort of wrecked the car quite badly. So, but yeah, very, very pleased to be able to walk away when we look at the damage. So, yeah.
Weather conditions were fine with a light breeze for the second run through the forestry stages. Will Menzies saw his potential win disappear on stage 5 when he clipped a bank and bent the left rear suspension. The car was now badly crabbing. But determined to carry on, he kept going through stage 6 to get back to service. So Julian Longley took the lead, holding off a fast-charging Gavin Feast. But late in stage 5, Longley had a scare when his rear suspension came loose after a bolt broke.
T, 8 right, 50, long 5 left plus.
What was that?
Long 5 left plus.
Oh, I think we've got it flat.
Okay. You have got 3k to go.
Yeah.
Long 7 right minus, small crest
No,
200.
something wrong. We've broken something on the back.
Okay.
4, we got it flat.
Long 6
Back.
right,
No,
60.
gonna have to slow down. We lost control of the car.
Yeah.
4Ks or 5Ks before the end, the car started to really behave weirdly, like it wanted to go all over the place. So I had to back off and made it to the finish line and had a look underneath, and we lost a bolt on the link on the front, rear right corner, the front link on the subframe side. There's no bolt there. So either got snapped or, I don't know, got loose and fell off. So we did a temporary repair with what we had in the car, but it was not the right bolts, but it was just to get us back here.
Feast could taste victory as he closed in on Longley, but there was a strong challenge coming from Ben Huband. After a slow start in the morning, Huband won both of the repeated forestry stages and was now just 22 seconds back from Feast in third place. Josh Keeley was now finding better pace, so would move up to fourth. He was still driving with the clutch issue, but managing to keep up the pace. A move into the top 3 here would give him a strong position heading to the final at Whangarei next month.
Narrows again from here, 6 right plus long, 60, 7 left.
Kevin Laird admitting that seeing McDonald's crash car in the forest had been sobering. He had backed off to hold his position.
To be honest, I saw my mate Caleb crashed off and it really put me off for probably this last stage too. I found it quite hard to get back into it, so a bit of a service now and a reset, and I think it'll help me mentally to get back into the game.
Stage 8 saw Longley slowed with a fuel pressure issue. The engine was surging, but at least the suspension was holding together after the fix and service, and he went into stage 9 with just a 1 second lead over Gavin Feast. That came to a stop on stage 9. The engine spluttering just as he needed to power out of this corner, and the car slid wide off the road and into this tree.
About 3Ks from here, we had a fuel pump issue, I reckon, because the fuel pressure just kept dropping, coming back and dropping, coming back. So engine cut off and then back on and off. And we were just hoping to try and make it to the finish line to then fix it. And yeah, we got to that corner, the car started sliding, I put my foot down on the accelerator and nothing, no response. And it just went drifted until we landed here. So yeah, very disappointed.
So Gavin Feast was in a position to take the class win, but he was battling his own engine issues. Ben Huband had been winning stages as well, so it was all on. Another stage win here for Huband on the feature stage would see him take the lead. It had been a complete reverse of his slow pace in the morning, where he had been slowest on stage 2, but then won 5 of the following 6 stages. And a strong finish too by Josh Keeley, taking second place from Gavin Feast after winning the final 2 stages. A great return to the top after such a challenging day at Coromandel, and this gives him the lead in the Group A challenge as well. With McDonald having to find another car if he is to compete at Rally Whangarei, Keeley has put himself in a strong contention to win the 2025 Rally Challenge.
Well done, mate. That was hot. Wanting a lot on the table there.
So Ben Cuban takes victory, 24 seconds over Josh Keeley, with Gavin Feast a further 4.3 seconds back. Then it's Kevin Laird, and well done to Will Menzies for persevering to get to the finish in 5th.
Next up, we look at the FIA Rally 4 versus Rally 2 class, and later, the pressure is on at the top of the championship, Hunt versus Stokes. Welcome back to the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. This is round 5, the Battery Town Rally Bay of Plenty. Just 6 two-wheel drive cars competing at this round, but a huge difference across the 3 classes. At the slower end, Mike Cameron's 1970s Lancer GSR, the car that launched Mitsubishi on the successful rally journey, famed for its reliability on rallies like the East African Safari and the Southern Cross. Mike may not have the ultimate pace, but this car has an enviable finishing record, and finishers get points. And from the South Island, 2 Mark II Escorts. First, this whole bay engine car of Stephen Gill. It's a new experience for Gill, stepping up from the mainland series rallies in the South Island to take on the Nzrc and competing on North Island roads.
I think we need to wake up though. I think we're just a wee bit slow, but hopefully we can pick it up and get into it this afternoon, or later this morning I should say.
The next driver is Dean Buist. This Escort is a BDA-powered version, the very same car that Ari Vatanen ran Rally New Zealand back in 1977. Well, there have been more than a few body panels, axles and gearbox replaced on this car since then, but that's a long story. Buist did compete in the North Island in the past, but many years back, so this is his first trip north in many years and his first attempt at the Rally Bay of Plenty.
I really enjoyed. It's different, you know. It's it's a bit. I suppose at home you just do those same roads all the time, whereas here it's just it's a new experience.
Dave Strong back in a Honda, but not the fire-breathing rear-engine special that broke an engine at Coromandel. This is his trusty Honda Civic, a car which has been running on and off in the championship and across the North Island with many victories. The final 2 cars are on the cutting edge of FIA rally classes. The Rally 4 class is the WRC entry-level class for aspiring drivers. Bryn Jones' Rally 4 is a Ford Fiesta, and it's proven to be a giant killer over the 5 rounds of the NZRC so far. Despite only 2-wheel drive, the M Sport developed suspension and powertrain keeps it up to pace with some of the Rally Challenge 4-wheel drive cars. Bryn's competition this year coming from another Fiesta Rally 4. Tim Mackesy finally took delivery of his car mid-last season and has spent the year fine-tuning his driving style to the car. But how close are these Rally 4 cars to the top class in New Zealand rallying? The Rally 2 cars dominated by the Skoda Fabias of Robbie Stokes and Ben Hunt.
We talk a lot in the commentary about Rally 4 and Rally 2 cars. They're the FIA formulas. But what's the difference? Let's have a look. Let's start with the beating heart of the Rally 4 car. This is a tiny little engine, as you can see. 1 litre, 3-cylinder, and that turbo's doing a lot of the work. One of the big differences you'll notice from the outside is these guards are very standard. They're not extended out like a Rally 2 car. There's a reason for that, and it's all to do with the suspension underneath. It's not just for vanity. Internally, not a whole heap of difference. You see a lot of the safety structure and seats and everything, they're homologated. One of the big differences is the pedals in these cars. You see the Rally 4, your more traditional swinging style pedal. One thing that's definitely different to your standard road car is the steering wheel setup and the buttons that are on it too. Just like Formula 1, everything's right at the driver's fingertips. Under the bonnet of the Rally 2 car, things look very different. Bigger motor, bigger turbo, a lot more technology in the wiring, a lot more modification. The Rally 2 cars, they're all controlled by this little pop-off valve that's controlled by the FIA that limits the turbo boost, and that's how they control the performance. With the Rally 4 car, we talked about how standard the guards and the body panels are compared to the big pumped-out guards on these Rally 2 cars, and this is the reason why. Look at that suspension, all hand-fabricated nicely. The beautiful wheel arches. There's a lot of work, a lot of time, money and development in making the suspension for these cars as good as it can possibly be. So this is a standard Skoda Fabia door. You see the flares integrated in beautifully, but just have a look at what that's actually hiding in beneath. The beautiful wheel arch construction that's all designed around giving that maximum suspension travel. So going to the steering wheel, again you see controls that are right at the driver's fingertips. This car's got a more sophisticated electronics package, so everything runs through the big screen you can see in the centre of the car, all the information the driver needs. All they have in front of them is shift lights and a gear that they're in. Again, like the Rally 4 car, we see safety is paramount, and the extensive roll cage, the side containment seats. One thing that the Rally 2 cars do have that the Rally 4 cars don't is the safety foam for side impact absorption. And you see the purpose-built competition pedal box. Beauty of having them floor mounted is it actually arches the same way as your ankle rotates. Plus it's fully customisable, so the driver can have each pedal exactly where they want it and where they're most comfortable. So one of the biggest differences between a Rally 2 and a Rally 4 car is this one's got a rear differential. It's hidden away under the underbody there because they're four-wheel drive. Obviously the Rally 4 cars are two-wheel drive, and that's a massive disadvantage when it comes to rallying. And another one that's pretty hard to miss, the rear wing. That's not production like it was on the Rally 4 car. So there it is, a look at the difference between two international spec cars. This is sort of the benchmark of two-wheel drive rallying around the world, and the Rally 2 car is the benchmark of four-wheel drive rallying at a national level.
With the Stage 3 cancelled after McDonald's accident, it was the repeat Forest stages which saw the action start again. Dean Buis showing that there's nothing slow about a Mark II Escort driven the right way. He was the fastest of the two-wheel drives and in the top 10 outright in Rally Bay Plenty.
150.
The nature of these forest stages was helping though. Lots of long straights meant the Escort had a top speed advantage over the Fiesta Rally 4 of Bryn Jones. This car set up for the tight technical WRC stages, not forest highways.
5 right plus.
Jones in striking distance though, just 30 seconds back as they headed back to Kawerau for the service. And Tim Mackesy definitely in touch with this battle. He'd lost just 40 seconds over the 6 stages, but that was close enough if Jones had any issues. Stephen Gill was having a close tussle with the Honda of Dave Strong, both cars having the power to take advantage of the forest stages, in Gill's case, rear drive. While the Honda is front-wheel drive, so two very different cars to drive, but the end result was that they were separated by just 9 seconds in Gill's favour as they head to Kawerau. And he may have been the final car running, but Mike Cameron was heading for another podium in the historic class and more points on the board, the Mitsubishi proving its reliability just as it had in the 1970s. The afternoon stages, more traditional, country roads with plenty of history, stages like Manawahei, Herapuru, and here Campbell Road, a stage which has hosted international drivers and locals alike. The road was run in reverse in the morning as stage 2, but the dust has settled and it's not such a problem now. Buis has control of the historic class, but not just that, he's 6th place overall in the Nzrc. He's ahead of the Rally Challenge winner Ben Hubin. In the right conditions with the right driver, the simple Escort BDA is still an incredible car on rally stages, whether it's in New Zealand or Ireland or anywhere in the world. Stephen Gill coming home second in the historic class in his Escort and finishing 1 place ahead of Dave Strong. That keeps him a contender for the trophy. Just 20 points behind Buis, with 44 points up for grabs at the Rally Whangarei final. Dave Strong all but claims the Open two-wheel drive title with his finish here. Despite issues all season with his other car, he heads to Whangarei in the box seat to claim another NZRC title. Mike Cameron's 3rd place in historic class here confirms his move to 3rd place in the historic challenge. There's been mention of retirement for car and driver, but don't be surprised if this veteran car and crew make another appearance in 2026. The Battle of the Rally 4 Fiestas saw Tim Mackesy finish 2nd with no dramas and losing just a few seconds per stage to winner Bryn Jones. It's great to see these two fight hard all event. Bryn Jones's class victory here puts him 20 points clear of Mackesy, but again with 44 points up for grabs at Whangarei, this race is far from over. It's been an eventful 4 weeks for Jones, who travelled to Portugal to compete in a similar Peugeot Rally 4 car. The lure of a European rally campaign might see Jones heading offshore in 2026. So Bryn Jones scores another class win in the Fiesta battle. Dean Buer shows he is just as fast on the North Island roads to take the historic win.
Coming to this year, I've had a bit of a mental reset and I've just kept fighting basically. And then with the recent experience over in Portugal and that, it's just I just feel like I'm pushing a little bit harder and trusting the car and just being a little bit more confident on today. And so just feeling really, really good.
It was a really good day. We really enjoyed it. The roads were excellent, good variety, and hadn't done them for a long time. So it was really good, and it's good to win. Obviously, as always, it's good to win.
Next up, we check out the horsepower of a different kind at Classic Flyers, and the pressure is on at the top of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship.
Welcome back to the Battery Town Rally Bay of Plenty, based this year at the Classic Flyers Museum on the outskirts of the Tauranga Airport. We're here at Classic Flyers Museum, the start and finish venue for the Battery Town Rally Bay of Plenty. I'm here with Andrew Gormley. Tell us a little bit about this place.
Well, g'day Blair. We've been here for 22 years now, and we're a community exercise, and all we do these days is have events and look after old aeroplanes.
Well, Andrew, this is a pretty impressive bit of kit. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this is one of our favourite aircraft, Blair. It's a Grumman Avenger, and many years ago it was picked up out of a kids' playground. Our guys have spent 18,000 hours reconstituting it to look like that. It can't actually go flying, but it does run. We taxi it, and it's a very cool exhibit.
Well, Andrew, this one takes me back to my childhood days. I remember seeing these fly over our skies.
This is a very cool piece. It's a McDonnell Douglas A4K Skyhawk. This is number 6201, and it's a very proud possession of ours. It's on long-term loan by the Air Force Museum, but she's a beauty, isn't she?
Absolutely.
This one, Blair, is another Harvard AT6. This aircraft does a lot of adventure flights as well, with punters that want to go for a ride and perhaps do something aerobatic or something like that. Experience a lovely old aeroplane like this.
Doing crazy stuff in the air.
Yeah.
I think I've got just the bloke for you.
You haven't, have you?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Jack Hawkswood. Yes, our resident rally Top Gun pilot is going to be put through his paces in the Harvard, while he then gets to thrill the pilot in his Toyota Yaris. Guarantee there'll be some airtime involved in the rally car. That's next time on Nzrc TV. An early morning start meant that the first cars faced low light conditions. This first stage is a challenging 11 kilometres, which rewards getting into a rhythm early. Inland from the coast, conditions are slightly damp, so not a dust issue here. Robbie Stokes had worked hard since Coromandel to improve the Skoda, even taking former NZRC round winner Matt Summerfield as co-driver at the Mainland Series final rally to help assess the effectiveness of the changes. It shows how much effort this family team are putting into the NZRC, and with another Skoda arriving at the end of the year for younger brother Jack, 2026 looks even more promising for the Canterbury-based team. While it's all Skoda at the front, the AP4 Fiesta in the hands of Jack Stokes has the potential to disrupt. After a terrible start to the season which saw Jack win stages and then have the car break, he is not in a points-challenging position. But if he can take points away from Ben Hunt, then that would benefit his brother. The camera here making the stage look darker than it was, but it's still not ideal when Jack only has the car's headlights rather than the usual bright rally spotlights. Chasing him hard though, Jack Hawkswood in his AP4 Yaris. Josh Marston has been banking points throughout the year and sits third in the Nzrc. While the two Scooters are probably out of his reach with 2 events to run, he has Jack Hawkswood closing in on his third place and won't want to give the young Auckland driver any advantage. With co-driver Andrew Graves, this crew are one of the most experienced pairings in the top class. Emma Gilmore returned in her Citroen C3 Rally 2, but a broken exhaust manifold would see her retire on stage 2. Hunt was under 2 seconds behind Robbie Stokes as they started stage 2. With just 1 car ahead of him, Hunt still had to contend with the dust, but this time he was fastest and took a 6-second lead. The dust is visibly thick here, but the real issue is the lack of any breeze. With the cars running at 1-minute intervals, there is simply not enough time for the dust to settle in the corners. This is where the pace notes are critical in keeping the driver confident on the road ahead. But even with Robbie's experience, he would be backing off momentarily when the dust is bad. 8 seconds slower than Hunt. As more cars compete on the stage, the dust just gets worse. Jack Stokes pushing hard, but he would lose 8 seconds to his brother by the stage end. It was only the second stage of the rally, and with a service following this stage, it was not a place for heroics. Jack Hawkswood was 4th fastest in his Yaris AP4. Josh Marston would be very aware that in conditions like this, it pays to play the long game and back off. But that feeling of losing time never sits well in a driver's head.
K100. Short sticks left plus.
But there was relief to come, as the organisers had now imposed a 2-minute gap between cars for the following group of stages in the forest, much to the relief of the drivers.
The first stage was probably a bit like everyone else, trying to get into the rhythm, and it was pretty dark. You know, this cloud that we've had made it pretty challenging in there. I see Mike Young took his spotlight, so good on him. And the second stage is a grouse road, but very dusty.
First stage was probably the worst stage I think I've driven this year, but the time was good, so yeah, we'll keep pushing.
2 pretty different stages. The first stage surprisingly dark, but just tried to make as little mistakes as possible, and then the second one was just, the dust is just insane. So you're braking for flat corners and you just trust your notes, but when you can't see the apex, the risk isn't worth it, I guess.
The rally now entered the Matahina forest, a massive Pinus radiata plantation in the shadow of Putoaki, Mount Edgecombe, a dormant volcano near Kawerau. This was the first time rally had used these roads for 20 years. Ben Hunt looking to extend his lead, but he hit a culvert and spun on this stage, losing 20 seconds. So a good time through the stage for Robbie Stokes would definitely see him take a commanding lead.
300, flat, 7 right, C500.
These forest roads were built for huge trucks with up to 3 trailers, so there are long straights like this, but the corners on the roads are not tight. The key to speed on these stages is managing the variety of road surfaces, from open, clear-felled to narrow roads with trees right up to the edge. It's something that can really play on a driver's confidence. After the 34 kilometres of stage 3, stage 4 was just an 11-kilometre sprint. Robbie Stokes would head to the second service with a 15-second lead. But it was Jack Stokes who took the stage 4 win by under 1 second. That would see him third at the service, just 6 seconds behind Hunt.
That was cool, eh? That was cool, eh?
Jack Hawkswood in 4th, but Josh Marston was closing to under 10 seconds away. Hawkswood had expected to debut his new Rally 2 Yaris at this event, But when the car arrived from Finland, he discovered that the seats, which are available in different size options, were too small for himself and co-driver Jason Farmer, or in fact any human being. New seats are on their way to New Zealand and should arrive in time for the car to debut at the Vertex Oil International Rally of Whangarei in a few weeks. Josh Marston has plenty of experience in the Canterbury forests at home, so is starting to pressure Hawkswood here.
Big balls, absolute 8 right, 100.
Not a conventional pace note call, but we get the meaning here as the car reaches top speed through the trees. A service and regroup in Kawerau and time to reflect on the return to the forest stages next.
Yeah, probably, 2/3 of the way through that stage, just there's quite a lot of loose gravel on there and got caught out on a right-hander and just sucked us into one of those big water drains that they have in the forestry, and managed to spin us down the road quite a few times, and pretty lucky, to be honest, to get out of that, but we'll push on from here and try and just regroup, and we had a bit of a nudge through that last stage and lost a little bit, but the car's feeling good. So
that forestry it's good fun, but it's treacherous. It can just throw you off with the changing grip all the time, and a couple of corners you go wide on, but we'll clean it up for the second pass.
Definitely a bit of everything. Your pace notes are actually quite different to what they are on the open roads, so you had to adjust for that, but I enjoyed it.
It's much better now we've got the 2-minute gaps, there's no dust out there, but I think for the afternoon we've got the repeat stages there, so we'll have another good crack through there again, and then we're just going to try and keep in front of Josh and just snap those championship points up.
Ben Hunt slower by 8 seconds on the second run through Matahina. But it was the younger Stokes who won the stage. A stage win on stage 5 and 4th fastest here on stage 6 would place Jack Stokes in second. 1.6 seconds ahead of Ben Hunt, setting up an epic battle from here to the very last stage. Hunt could not afford to lose second place points.
7 right, straightens on crest, 60.
Robbie Stokes had mistakenly entered the service park early after being waved through, so while he held the rally lead over these 2 stages, there was a possibility of a penalty for him, which would change the rally lead again. Jack Hawkswood went into these repeat stages with more confidence. He was just 0.4 of a second slower on stage 5 than Robbie Stokes. And on stage 6, he was second fastest and only 1/10 of a second away from the stage win. There had been some concern that the first run through the stages would see large rocks pulled out of the road base by the four-wheel drive cars. But the roads held up very well and none of the top Nzrc cars suffered punctures. Marston was still in touch with Hawkswood, the gap only 16 seconds, close enough to take advantage if the younger driver had a spin. So at the third service, Robbie Stokes had a 10.3 second margin over his brother, with Hunt just 1.6 seconds back. Hawkswood in 4th, 16 seconds ahead of Marston. Coming up, it's out of the forest and back on familiar stages as the crews rally back towards the finish at Tauranga. Welcome back to the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. This is the Battery Town Rally Bay of Plenty. Manawahei Road was the first of the stages out of the forest. Shortened this year, but still a great challenge. Despite the difference between the AP4 Holden and the Rally 2 Skoda, Stokes and Marston were separated by just 0.3 of a second here.
Nice work. That's a cool stage. That was awesome. Do that twice. Yeah.
Time's been really close, and that stage in there is fantastic. Hey, we need to run that twice. Like that's it's such a good flow. Like first time through, but like obviously heard about it and that sort of jazz in the past, But like, what an amazing flow. It's almost like a South Island road.
Lives up to the reputation then.
Yeah, somewhat.
A new challenge next on stage 8, where the start was on tarmac, which puts incredible strain on the drivetrain. The battle for second between Jack Stokes and Ben Hunt was changing stage by stage. Hunt had the advantage on stage 7, but Jack fought back here on stage 8. By the end, the gap was under half a second.
60, 6 right, 320.
And the race for 4th between Hawkswood and Marston Well, at the stage end here, Marston had closed that to under 10 seconds.
On seal, over finish, 50, 7 rights. Well done.
Stage 9 was a repeat of Stage 2, but in the opposite direction. The dust issue had gone, and at our live point there was actually a stretch of tarmac. At 14 kilometres, this was Hunt's best chance to overtake Stokes for the lead. Ben's onboard camera had failed on Stage 1, so we can't show just how hard he was trying, but we can see here that he was pushing the Skoda Rally 2 to the absolute limit. Stage time, 6 minutes 50.7. The margin going into the stage, 11 seconds between the two Skodas. Stokes will have to push hard to match Hunt's time in here. A win here for Stokes will close the gap to Hunt to just 9 points going into the final round and keep the momentum in Stokes' challenge. Let's see what his time is. Oh, 7 minutes. He's lost 9.2 seconds to Hunt. The gap now just 1.7 seconds going into the final stage. And with Jack Stokes just 0.2 of a second behind Hunt, he could well be a real threat to his brother as well. What a dramatic end to the day. Not sure I'd want to be in the Stokes team if Jack passes Robbie for the lead here.
Over finish, 200 to seal. Absolutely lovely.
6 minutes 52.8. Just a couple of seconds slower than Hunt.
Good stuff. That was so sick.
So he'll remain in third, but well in the fight. It was Jack Hawkswood who was closest to Hunt on the stage by 1.6 seconds. That allowed him to ease out his advantage to Marston in that fourth place battle. So Josh Marston taking 5th place for the rally and keeping his 3rd place in the championship. Hawkswood had a mature drive to take 4th and keep up the pressure on Marston. Fortunately for family harmony, Jack Stokes eased back his pace on the last stage, which would cement him a fine 3rd place. It has been another great day for this young driver, and no doubt 2026 will see him fighting for the title.
30. Long 7 right minus, nips.
But the fight to first wasn't over. Ben Hunt won the stage with a 7 minutes 37.7. That gave Robbie Stokes a buffer of just 1.6 seconds if he was to take the win.
Short 6 right over crest, maybe 40. Flat 6 left, hug, 50. Flat 6 right.
Let's check out the time.
30, long 6 right, and you're done.
7 minutes 37.8. Just 1/10 of a second down on Hunt, but he's taken the rally win.
So a win to Robbie Stokes by the narrowest margin, just 1.4 seconds to Hunt. Jack Stokes just 9.3 back in 3rd, ahead of Jack Hawkswood in 4th and Josh Marston in 5th.
I heard someone say you're not a rally driver until you've won in the North Island, so can take that one off now.
Hunt leads with 155 points to Stokes' 146. Marston cannot get higher than 2nd, but will be under pressure from Jack Hawkswood to hold on to 3rd. Dean Buist has done a fine job in 5th to head the 2-wheel drive competitors. Jack Stokes finally gets into the top 8 after a great drive and will be looking for a win at Whangarei to carry him into the top 5. Yes, 44 points on offer at the final round rally Whangarei, and with all new stages on day 1, this will be an epic final. Catch the action live on Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th of November on Nzrc TV and our live results partner chrissport.nz.